My mic was muted. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to Rush Racing North America Europe Season 10. It all starts right here as we are here for the preseason race here in Bahrain, the first of two races. And we will see these drivers take their first preseason laps of the new season. Joined with me today, as always, my name is GameHawk, and I am hosting today for the preseason race. But today, we have a very special guest, a new commentator, and a newly acquired Haas team principal. Please welcome the one and only Verstappen. How you doing today? I am doing fantastic, and I am very excited to get the new season underway. I mean, new season, new stakes, new drivers, and of course, maybe a little bit of petty rivalries from last season. But I'm all excited either way to see how this goes.
I am too. I'm honestly here and ready to watch the competition and these racers. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree more. I mean, the last season, it was crazy. I mean, it was so much better, and it really took me by surprise because a lot of the tracks that we see in real life, for example, Monaco, Japan, like were the two most prominent examples, but in real life, we really didn't see much of anything. Monaco is Monaco, and we don't really see any passing. But then in Japan, we also didn't see any passing at all either. Rush Racing said, we're going to take that and throw that out the window because Japan was by far the most one of the most exciting races that I've ever seen. And then we go to Monaco, and I'm pretty sure that the winner set a record by finishing the race almost a minute and 20 seconds ahead of second place, which was absolutely insane. And I've never seen something like that ever before. So we always can see something unexpected here in North America, and I think that they're going to try and replicate that this season as well.
Let's hope so, and even so, make it better, because I know, in real life, Rush Racing basically just said, so this is a good example of whatnot. Let's do this. They kind of just threw real racing out the door and said, let's do Rush Racing.
Yeah, that is actually pretty much the most accurate description of how it went. So for today, for the first preseason race, we have just a short qualifying, 18 minutes, and to determine the grid, and then we will do a 20-lap race here. And right now, roughly half the grid is currently on their out lap right now, and it's going to be very interesting. And I mean, I'm going to be kind of interested just to see, especially two drivers for me, Marakidan and Illyrian. Last season, Marakidan is our current reigning world champion, reigning NA champion, and he dominated for most of the year, and he was like I said, very dominant driver, won races very comfortably, and if he didn't, he came in second place, only 2 or 3 seconds behind first place. But Illyrian joined in halfway through the season, and he was almost basically the main source of competition, as he was right behind Marakidan almost every single race, no matter what track it was. So for preseason, it's going to be very interesting to see if that dynamic is going to continue now that Illyrian is going to have a full season ahead of him.
Ooh, that seems like it's going to be a rivalry. That really sounds like it's going to bring some good races.
So far, here we go. Surprisingly, we actually have a couple people running mediums right now in their first lap of qualifying. In my personal opinion, I actually think that is the smart move, because at least even if you don't set the fastest time, you do get a little bit of practice on the mediums. as Meldrum will be our first driver across with a 1 minute 29.4, and he will take provisional pole for now as he sets the first lap of the day.
That seems like a pretty good lap. Honestly, Pool Diver decided to pull a faster one.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see just as we go. So now you can see Wildcat with a 1 minute 31 on the mediums. I am interested to see here as Meraki Dawn is about to cross the line to see where Meraki Dawn lands. And he takes fastest lap on the mediums.
Yeah. That is crazy.
I think that just kind of demonstrates just kind of the raw pace that he can just demonstrate on the track. And I mean, you as a team principal, you probably have a better idea, but it's just when he's racing, especially in the OCE circuits, I mean, he's a formidable opponent.
Yeah, he really is. He'll either win or make darn well sure his and make sure he goes in front of his rival, if anything. I kind of saw that in a race or two I saw online of the past season.
Yeah, and going into a new season, I mean, we just did the preseasons for OCE in Brazil, Abu Dhabi, and now we're seeing it here in Bahrain. So for you, from a team principal's perspective, how have things been looking so far? I haven't really been able to catch it because, unfortunately, being in North America on the East Coast, nonetheless, time zones are just not kind to me, so I don't really get to see many of the races. But for you, how have things started to look being a new team principal in this?
It's honestly looked very hard on shoes because for a team principal, they want someone that has good pace like Meraki Dawn, but they also don't want their driver to be like acting. They want their driver to be humble, almost humble but confident.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like good team partnership and all that. Because if anything, if they aren't like that, possibly they could wreck each other. Your drivers could wreck each other because they have such a bad, unhealthy rivalry that honestly it just that season horrible and it messes up everything.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. I mean, shades of real life with, I mean, the Spain race being a very good example of that, where both Mercedes ended up crashing. And I believe that was actually Verstappen's first win, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah,
completely agree that you kind of want that balance, but at the same time you want to be competitive. So I mean, it's definitely like a delicate balance and a delicate dance, as it were.
Yeah. And honestly, from everything I've seen, I think a lot of these drivers have that quality of having good rivalry. And it's a healthy, good competition.
Yeah, and that is definitely what you want to hear as well, because being a part of the F1 community and streaming and open lobbies, you always hear about I was in this league and so happened. I was in this league and something happened. I have not heard anything like that come out of Rush, and that is one thing that I've been very, very thankful for, is that, like, sometimes the racing can get a little hectic, brutal, I guess pick your adjective, but at the end of the day, almost 98% of the driving is like very clean driving and very competitive. That there's not many drivers that you would see that are very, like, there's not like a huge separation. That you might see a couple drivers that are the fastest, but you don't really see the biggest difference between, say, P5 to P15, where I think even in one race last season, I think it was from P3 down to P16 it was around a separation of just about 2 seconds between all those positions. So that is one thing I'm very thankful for, and probably something as a team principal you're thankful for, that even though it is a very competitive league, is that for the most part it is a very clean league and a very competitive league still.
Yeah, I am very thankful for that because, well, you don't want to just wreck each other and get no points. You want your drivers to at least go up, get points. It doesn't really matter if you don't win your first season. Honestly, the first season for me, I'd say, is a good season for training, for like kind of dipping your foot in the water testing kind of ideal for a first season. And honestly, I love to see it because I'll always pick new people if I ever need to for my second division. Because by doing that, you're kind of helping and starting like a bond almost with the drivers and being their like first team, what all that, kind of how Verstappen's been loyal to Red Bull for however long, since 20, honestly I think he's raced for Red Bull 2016, 15, but still, like, you want that bond so that you can help make your drivers better and faster.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and very wise words. And I think that is why I am mostly a commentator and you are trusted to be a team principal. So far, roughly just about sub 7 minutes to go here. Meraki Dawn just set the fastest lap with a 127.2, but we have a couple new names at the top here as well with Alizzi. I'm gonna do my best to pronounce all the names correctly. Alizzi in P2 with a 127.5, and then Money with a 127.58, and there is Illyrian as well with a 127.5, and then Joshua Bear with a 127.8 as well. So far, you can see the timing, not that huge of a separation so far.
Oh no, it's really not that bad of a separation. Almost like there's almost like each like kind of column of who's in what kind of speed. There's at least like 5 people in that same amount of speed almost.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like especially looking at like that top 6, I mean, they're all within thousands. I mean, in some cases thousands, as like P2 to P3 is 6,000 separation, but even then it's only for the top ones just a couple tenths even, that it's all so close. And I think that's one thing that NA is so good at, is that the competition is always so close that you may see a couple drivers that may take over, or like, for lack of a better term, like almost activate the X Factor mode. But during qualifying, really could be anyone's chance of getting pole.
It truly is. It's almost like I forgot what it's called, but it's almost like they're all on the same level. Like they've all started at the same level and all progressed at the same time. Kind of like if you're growing the same plant with the same stuff, 2 different plants but same stuff, they all like kind of grow at the same time almost.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, that is how a lot of the drivers, I mean, get their training. Because I mean, I already know that, like, even though Meraki Dawn has been dominant, you can definitely tell that, like, going from here to the OCE league and watching him in a couple of races over the last like 6 months or so that I've been here, even he's been improving and getting better. So I agree that, like, for most of these drivers, it's all a slow process of maturing, getting better, getting faster. And I mean, it's fun to see. I mean, it's fun to see the competition, and it's great to see more and more drivers become more and more competitive and just improve over time.
it really is amazing to see that, because we may see Jesse Ben Jr. at the bottom this year. In 10 or so years, when they mature, get older, they could be number one. Like it's almost seeing in the future who you can kind of see at the top.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. I mean, just over time, these drivers will continue to get better and better, and that's what you want to see. Because, I mean, in the terms of racing, you never really want to be stagnant for long, because, and especially, you know, as a team principal, that if you see a driver that doesn't seem as interested or doesn't really seem like they want to get better, that could be an issue, not only for the team dynamic, but that could put their seat in jeopardy.
Oh yeah, that would definitely put their seat at jeopardy, because no team principal that's like, oh, I'm content where I am, I don't want to get better. That is something a team principal is the one thing you don't want them to see, because that, honestly, for me, at least for a team principal, that would make me say, okay, you can finish this season, but I don't want you next season if you don't want to change and get better. Because I know some racers, yeah, they may be not as good and fast, but they are training and training to get better. They want to get better. So honestly, I think even though I'd go for them, because they want to get better and they can get better. With the right strategies and the right mentoring, they can be better.
Yeah, and I mean, it's part of just like the development of drivers, because I mean, no, very rarely do you ever see just a pure grade talent just kind of take over out of nowhere. I mean, most of these drivers continue to just improve as they race and as they get better. So I completely agree that it just can be, if you aren't willing to improve and try to get better, then it just kind of really leaves a sour taste in your mouth if you're watching that driver just kind of be more nonchalant. But yeah, with a minute and a half to go here in qualifying, you can see almost all the drivers are currently out right now. You can see a huge bunch are on their out laps now. And so far, Marakidan's still holding the fastest lap. No one else has really moved up or down the grid. The biggest move that I saw so far is Nova Stappen, another fellow Verstappen fan, that originally they were in P13 and they moved up to P8. So as most of these drivers are going, this is going to be their last chance to get their best laps in.
It truly is going to be the last chance, because I've been watching some of the people, the racers on here, and they've honestly been getting better and better each lap. Because honestly, it just takes practice, takes experience to get better.
Yeah, and it continues to go. And actually, Marakidan actually unintentionally answered my question. You can kind of see that there is a line forming in Sector 3. And it was becoming a question that, especially in racing, especially with these ground effect cars, the last of their kind, the dirty air is such a big issue. And it becomes even worse in qualifying. And that's one thing that's a little concerning, is that on the track map, you can see just a whole line of cars that are going through. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that dirty air is going to affect their times as the clock officially expires. So now it comes down to the last 3 minutes for them to put in their last times.
This is going to be a very interesting race. It will surprise us more likely, because there's people who can qualify good, amazing, but there's people that also race better than they're qualifying. So we could honestly just see SJ in 15th, the governor, and then you can just see him all of a sudden take first. Like it's honestly how people can just switch like that.
Really is. And Lizzie will take over provisional pole with a minute 27.1. Illyrian moves up to P3. Merakidon sets a purple sector 2. Right now, he is the main competition. He does have Joshua Bear behind him, I believe. Or no, Joshua Bear will cross and he falls down. A Ferrari will pass him. So now the real last competition as Merakidon comes around the last turn. Does he have enough for pole? And not enough. He misses out by 10 thousandths of a second. So that means Lizzie will keep provisional pole. Mildcat crosses the line last. And how about that?
How about that? Holy.
I think if you need any indication that this season is going to be close, I think that that is going to be your perfect indication.
I think the front of the whole racer like lineup is gonna be very interesting race.
So if we run down through the short qualifying, Lizzie with pole position, Merakidon missing out by 9 thousandths in P2, Illyrian P3, Money P4, Za in P5, Joshua Bear in 6th, Nova in 7th, Project Race in 8th, Pool Diver 9th, Spikes 10th, H-Town 11th, Barry 12th, Governor 13th, Wildcat 14th. And we'll go through the rest of the grid as we see it. But here we go. The first preseason race as they all load up. 20 laps, not the longest race that we will have, as it is a more considered a medium sized race, but I'm ready for this. Are you ready for your first race here?
Oh, I'm very ready. I'm ready to see all these racers fight and for spots to be signed for their favorite team. I really, truly am excited to watch this go down. See who all makes the whole entire crowd go wild. Be happy. I truly am.
And I have no doubt as well that you probably are taking maybe a couple notes and seeing some of these drivers about which ones you like. I mean, again, in this case, you just get to run double time anyway as we wait for the players to finish picking up their strategies. And we'll see. I mean, 20 laps.
I won't lie. I do have my notes out right now, taking notes as I'm commentating.
So here we go, the start of the preseason Bahrain 5 lights time. And we are underway here in NAEU Rush as we get a good launch here from Lizzie. Lizzie is going to go down into T1. You can see it's a very good launch from Merakidon as well as he's on the inside. Is he going to be able to hold on as we head into turn 2? And Merakidon is going to be able to hold on. He holds on and on those medium compound. And now look at this, Illyrian already charging behind Lizzie. He's going to go to the inside of Lizzie. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Not enough, as that soft tire is going to keep it in P2 for Lizzie. So far, no incidents that I could see, as there are drivers who are tumbling. It looked like there was a little bit of contact.
Mr. Cooper went all the way 17 to 10. Oh. Like I said, it's crazy.
That is the beauty of lap 1 in Formula 1, am I right?
It is beautiful.
And so far right now, it looks like a lot of the drivers still going through sector 2, kind of finding their position. And already Za maybe giving a little bit of challenge to Illyrian into lap 1. But you can see a lot of these drivers through lap 1, very, very close. I think Merakidon wanted to get as much of a jump as he could, but Lizzie is still hanging around.
Lizzie, I have a feeling, will make us very surprised later on in this.
And I mean, really, anything can happen. There is going to be a Kick Sauber who's going to go into the pits. There's a Haas as well, as turn 1 got a little bit dicey there, but everyone is able to get through. So still now with DRS enabled, now this is going to be the opportunity for these drivers to try and catch up, because I mean, there is always the possibility of a DRS train forming, but I think it's really going to come down to Alizé and Illyrian, as they're going to both try and challenge Meraki Dawn. So, I mean, going through these DRS sections as we progress through the race now, it's going to be interesting.
This is going to be very interesting because just think, these drivers are all random different strategies and kind of trying to figure out which one will be best for them. I'm thinking that Alien is running the same as Meraki Dawn. I'm pretty sure they're going to be very close.
Yeah, and I mean, so far they've shown that as well. I mean, you can kind of see that there is kind of a gap forming between Spikes and Pool Divers. Pool Diver kind of in P8 being the last of this front row, and then Spikes in P9, and Mr. Koopa making another move up, and now he secures P10 once again. But here we go with DRS as Alizé trying to catch down Meraki Dawn. He's just not going to be able to do it. Even with DRS, it just looks like even on the soft tires, he just doesn't have quite the same pace that Meraki Dawn has.
Really, you are not wrong. Oh, Mr. Koopa may have lost his spot in 10th, but went down to 12th, but he took it right back into 11th. Both Mercedes right behind him, too.
And now a little bit dicey there for Mr. Koopa. I mean, you can see, like, it doesn't matter if it's the lead or fighting for P12. It is just a competitive grid, because you can see how close all of these drivers are fighting for each position. And I mean, so far, this is actually one thing I will ask you. Oh, the Alpine got a little loose.
Ooh.
Project Nemesis got a little bit loose behind. He saves it. But that could have been a very bad situation.
That really could have been.
And now we'll go back to the original point. What I was going to ask is that you can kind of see for the grid as a whole, very different compounds and very different strategies, that it kind of just looks like a just a mishmash and jumble of tires. As now, oh, DRS is broken, and Illyrian is going to soar into P2 as Ollie lost DRS from Meraki Dawn. So Illyrian up into P2.
That is going to be very interesting on how Alizé is going to try to take P2 back.
Yeah, and it's going to be, and I guess going back to the same point, the strategies are all different. You can see Meraki Dawn and Illyrian running mediums, Alizé and Za running softs. So, I mean, I would like to get your opinion on how do you think this is going to affect it? Because we do have 20 laps. It is probably going to be a one-stop affair, but it's going to be very interesting to see how these different strategies collide.
This is going to be very interesting. I think, really, if they have a good strategy... Oh! NRL got a 3-second penalty. That is not going to help at all.
Our first penalty of the NA preseason does go to Meldrum for track limits, and sometimes track limits can be brutal around Bahrain.
It truly can be, especially when you're trying to go hard a fast lap. It is going to be horrible. But back to as we were talking and saying, I truly think that Alizé come back if they have a good strategy. They can fix that DRS and make up second back. They can have a good race. They could possibly take P1 from Meraki Dawn.
Yeah, and I mean, you could see just the kind of pace that, like, Illyrian did catch up, and now Illyrian is on the verge of breaking DRS from Alizé, but you can see just the raw pace that before the season, me and Rekis, we already predicted that Meraki Dawn and Illyrian were going to be the top two drivers, almost almost sort of predicting Verstappen Hamilton like in 2021. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. And I mean, if Illyrian stays with the Haas team, that'll work out for you as well.
Oh yeah, that will, because honestly, I think Illyrian's Verstappen, Rocky Don's Hamilton, since Rocky Don's won in the past and Illyrian, this is definitely going to be interesting. It's truly like a Verstappen and Hamilton in 2021.
Yeah, you can see now that there is a little bit of separation now. Now look at this. Za trying to make a move on Nova Stappen. Does have DRS, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make the move. Thought about it. Oh, and that is going to make it interesting. Illyrian gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits violations. So now that is going to make this race much more interesting.
Oh, it's definitely going to be my thing now, because he's going to have to pass Meraki Don, not only pass him, but get 3 seconds ahead of him. That is going to be very hard to do.
Yeah, definitely very hard indeed. And Za's going to actually get the move done. We were waiting for the DRS straight to see what was going to happen, but Za just went ahead and did it. So now, with DRS, Za is chasing down the Williams. So now we'll see if he's going to be able to chase him down. So suspension is going to get a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And that is one thing that I think some drivers have to get used to, that a lot of people are used to the automatic pit stops, that usually when you join into a league, it has to go into manual and you have to get used to braking and actually slowing down for it.
Yes, that is going to be a thing, especially since Bahrain does not have good. It's truly like right there immediately as you start the pit, you're going to have to brake. Even maybe brake before you get to the pit lane.
Yeah, and I mean, being a new, I would still consider myself new to Formula One, and especially in the terms of driving, that was probably the biggest learning curve for me, was learning how to brake for the pit lane, because it can come up on you in a hurry, and especially places like Silverstone, where you can go flat out right to it, but then you have to slow down to very, very low speeds, lower than usual. It can really catch you off guard.
I was looking at the lineup right now, leaderboard, and I saw Koopa and Project Nemesis fighting yet again for 12th place. And it looked like Koopa has won that battle, but there's exactly another battle to come.
Yeah, and as we tune in, I mean Nemesis and Koopa, they've been fighting tooth and nail here for P12 and like right in this area. But I mean, so far the biggest story is Koopa. Koopa is up 5 positions from where he started. And I mean, so far the biggest loser right now is H-Town, and H-Town falling to P18 right now. And I mean, falling 7 positions from where he had originally qualified. So far, not a great look for Mercedes.
It is not a great look indeed. This is going to be a very interesting and probably a rivalry race for Koopa and Project Nemesis. This season's probably going to be the season that their rivalry keep on getting stronger and stronger. Since this is Koopa's first season, I think, and I don't know if this is Nemesis' first season, but it seems like Koopa has overtook and got into 11th, and Nemesis in 12th.
And we had a caution, as now we have an Aston Martin Money in P13 with no front wing, no safety car deployed. Or no, it says a virtual safety car has been deployed. So our first caution already now. So right now there is one person who took advantage of it, and that was H-Town, who pulled into the pits as soon as the virtual safety car was deployed, and he pulls into the pits and retires. So H-Town is our first retirement of the North American season.
That is going to be very interesting and quite hard for Mercedes.
So, oh, and now Meldrum is also going to get a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC, but now the green flag is underway. And now this is going to be very interesting, as right now this group right here, P5 or P4, P5, and P6 are all going through, and right there, Za is going to go ahead and take the pit lane. So as we approach halfway through the race, this is where strategy is going to start to influence, especially for those who started on the soft compound.
Koopa has now also gotten a time penalty for race track limits. This is going to be very hard for him to get 3 seconds ahead of Nemesis with how closely they are racing together. And Nemesis pits. Maybe it will not be as hard for Koopa as we thought.
Yeah, so Koopa goes up into P9. He gains, I believe, 3 positions as Wildcat, Barry, and Nemesis pit. And so far what we're seeing, a lot of the drivers who started on the softs are pitting to the hard compound. So I am kind of interested to see what tire compound the people who started on the mediums are going to go to.
I think that they will more go into, because they will more likely, some will go medium, some will go hard. But I think the ones that are trying to keep their spot will go hard. But ones that are going to try to go past the limit are going to try to go medium, gain more spots. This is going to be a very interesting race.
Yeah, I completely agree. And now Nova Stappen will also get into the pits. So Meraki Don also into the pits. Illyrian will take over the lead. Joshua Bear into P3, or sorry, P2 now. Meraki Don did pit for the hard compound. So he went from the mediums to the hards. A little bit surprising, because I was wondering if they were going to maybe some of the drivers who were on the mediums to try and go further on the mediums and then pit for softs, because we always talk about undercutting and trying to undercut on some of these longer tracks. Bahrain, a 1.5 minute lap time, kind of in that weird middle ground, but it seems that maybe some people, Meraki Don playing it the normal route and going on the hard compound, maybe if Illyrian doesn't pit this lap, maybe that means that maybe trying to going on the over and trying to get more laps out of the mediums than what maybe you would normally go through and try to go finish on the softs.
Yes, it does seem that way, and Koopa actually went mediums. As he joined back on the track, he is now behind Project Nemesis.
So as we talk about it, Illyrian did not pit. Illyrian did not pit. He stayed out. Joshua Bear as well. Pool Diver also stayed out. And I feel like this is also going to be an interesting pick, because Spikes, who is the Ferrari in P4, started on the hard compound. So right now, he's probably in the biggest position to go the longest and then pit for softs. And you can see Meraki Don in P5, and Elizzy started on the soft compound, then went to the mediums, sort of like what Koopa did. So I mean, you can see that all of these drivers definitely have different strategies and different ideas of how they want to run this race.
Really do. And if they're on hards and go to softs, then I could honestly get you a spot on the podium, because you'd be going the longest and then getting the fastest compound of tires.
Yeah, but it's kind of finding that sweet spot, as Money will set the fastest lap with a 1:30.016. But it is kind of that balancing act, because you don't want to pit so soon for that new compound that you wear it out so quickly. And I think that might be why drivers such as Illyrian, Joshua, and Pool Diver are running a little bit longer on those mediums than you probably would, because they want to make sure that those softs get to the end of the race.
Yeah, that is honestly probably the smartest move they possibly can do. Especially with Spikes doing the hards. If he does it just right with the strategy, he could get into the podium.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like right now that is what the strategy is. Illyrian, Joshua Bear, and Pool Diver approaching 12 lap old or medium tires as Meraki Dawn overtakes Spikes, as Spikes will maintain his P5 for right now, but he does have a Lizzie closing in behind him on the fresher mediums. But it's going to be very interesting, as right now the leader's going through sector 2 as we're more than halfway through this race. And I think just the bigger question, I mean, Illyrian is 11 seconds ahead of Joshua Bear, and then Joshua Bear is almost 3 seconds ahead of Pool Diver. Meldrum will get another 3-second time penalty for track violations. But if you are Illyrian, it's going to be a bigger and bigger question of, do you pit now, or do you hope that they pit first so that you can build a bigger gap?
That is also very true. Illyrian wants to keep that gap so that he can pit and still be up in front of them. Because if he does that, then he can take this whole win home.
Oh,
and be one of the best drivers for this preseason, the sign for. But also, key principles like me are not also just looking for speed; they're looking for pace and consistency as well.
that makes sense. And I mean, talk about consistency. Illyrian going for the consistent lap again, as Mr. Koopa will get a 3-second time penalty for track limit. But Illyrian stayed out. Both Joshua Bear and Pool Diver pulled into the pits for soft compound. So put 2 and 2 together, that more than likely is what Illyrian's strategy was. So I wonder if his strategy is going to be to try and pit now for the softs and re-catch back up to Meraki Dawn using a better compound.
That is honestly probably the best idea he could do right now, because for these mediums, they're probably burnt by now. So he probably wants to go ahead and pit here pretty soon, either this lap or next.
And now, I mean, this is really the big question. He's going to stay out. He stays out again. So this is going to make it 14 lap old medium tires that Illyrian is out on. So, I mean, I've seen Bahrain races. I think this is a new one for me.
Yes, it is a very interesting move to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be... Yeah, I think me and you are experiencing the same emotions, where it's just kind of like a big question mark. There was a kick Sauber in the wall as Barry drove by. I believe that was suspension in P18. Yes. So they'll pull over, missing a front wing. No safety car called there. Very interestingly enough, no safety car called. But like I said, I think me and you are both feeling the same emotions, where we feel like it's just a big question mark as to seeing what this strategy is going to end up being like.
Yes, it is a very interesting thing, and it seems like Koopa kept a good gap between him and Nemesis. If he keeps on making that gap, he could possibly finish in front of him with his 3-second, or it might be 6 now. No clue.
And so now once again into sector 3, and now the decision has been made. Illyrian will peel into the pits. Meraki Dawn is coming in around him, behind him, out of the last turn. So Illyrian's got his work cut out for him. He's gonna have to pit for the soft compound and try to regain those positions, as Spikes will also come into pit, more than likely for the soft compound as well. So Meraki Don will overtake the race lead for now with 6 laps to go. Alizzi in second place. Illyrian will come out of the pits in P3, crucially ahead of Za, who was the next person in the race in the leaderboard who didn't pit, as now Joshua Bear is a second behind Za, and Pool Diver 4 seconds behind Joshua Bear. So being 9 seconds behind Alizzi, that's a tall order for Illyrian, but we'll see what he can do with the soft compound.
Yes, this is going to be for Illyrian, and if he can pull through.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, as the race winds down, we do need to begin to think about a driver of the day for us. That the game does give it its own driver of the day, but we do get to think about who we want or who we think driver of the day so far is. And in my opinion, I think honestly right now driver of the day could go to either, in my opinion, Za or Pool Diver, because of the positions that they've made up, and as you were talking about before, the team principal being consistent through the entire race, and no matter what was going on around them, they just stuck to their guns and just kept going.
Yeah, that is a very good due confidence for the driver of the day.
And as I say that, as we were talking about them, right now Joshua Bear is trying to make a move on Za and trying to overtake that P4 position. Is right now, as we are on lap 16 of 20, Meraki Don comfortably in the lead. Alizzi with a 3-second time penalty, catching up, or I believe it is actually 6-second time penalties, or sorry, 3-second time penalties for Alizzi, and then a 3-second for Illyrian. It's going to be very interesting. Za has a 10-second penalty right now for speeding in the pit lane. Usually in a 50% race, you can serve that penalty because it's usually a two-stop race. But right now, that 10-second penalty would drop him almost to P10 at this point, almost P9. So Joshua Bear right now almost just fighting for a position that's already there. And I mean, if you were in his position, do you think that you would be more or less aggressive trying to overtake Za?
Honestly, if he does that, he will be, yeah, he would probably win if he couldn't serve the penalty. And now Belgium again with another penalty. He now has a 15 seconds added to his last lap. He's actually not gonna be too bad. He's actually just gonna be P17, where suspension is now 53 seconds behind, added 3-second penalty to his time, so 56 seconds as of right now. So honestly, Belgium won't be too far behind, but Joshua Bear will be pretty far behind if he doesn't get that penalty served. I mean, not Joshua Bear, but Za. If he doesn't get that penalty served.
As we were talking about him, I think we were asking of whether or not Joshua Bear should be more aggressive. I think that he answered it and said that he was going to be more aggressive, because went through sector 1 on the front stretch trying to overtake him, and then the switchback of Za getting DRS in the second DRS zone and retaking P4. So, I mean, despite the 10-second penalties, Za is absolutely still giving it his all, and Joshua Bear is not getting that position for free.
Oh no, honestly, what a team principal looks for in a person like Za Zal's fighting as best as he can, and some colliding with Joshua Bear losing.
Oh, yeah.
Lean.
Yeah, it looked like there was contact, but yeah, you're right. That now Joshua Bear is missing that left end plate, but he did get DRS for that time, or for that second DRS zone, so he's able to hold on. So, I mean, he's gonna more than likely get the same position, but I think the more concerning part is that with 3 laps to go here, Pool Diver is closing in on both Joshua Bear and Za. So now with that damaged wing, that is not going to help his case.
No, that is more like his case way worse because Pool Diver's coming. He's coming in fast.
Yeah, and Meldrum, I will say that also, we saw it on the screen as well, but Meldrum got too many penalties and disqualified. Spikes will get his first 3-second time penalty for speeding in the pit, or no, sorry, not speeding in the pit lane, track limits. There's penalties flying all over the place to keep track of, but so far, majority of the field has been clean. And now we talked about him closing in, and now Pool Diver is within DRS range of both of them, and Joshua Bear's gonna pull over. Looked like he almost just went straight into the pit lane, but he was trying to break the toe. As Za maybe trying to make a move, he's gonna go for the inside. Does he hold it?
And he takes it.
Joshua Bear held the line, gave him space. Still DRS as now they head through the second DRS zone. A little bit of a late move there, trying to hang it around the outside. Not gonna hold on as Joshua Bear is defending for his life right now.
He truly is defending with every ounce that he has. Oh, and it looks like Diver's gonna try to make a move on as he gets closer and closer. And he's in DRS zone now, close enough so he has DRS, so he might be making a move soon.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how close all 3 of these guys are as Marakidon is going to start the race's final lap. But I think one thing that is going to help Pool Diver is there is an Alpine that spun, I believe. Yeah, that is Project Nemesis who spun, and he spun again. Something is going on with Project Nemesis as he will get back going. But sorry, back to the original thought as now they head back down the front stretch. It is just a train. Pool Diver has the most ERS between the 3 of them as Za and Joshua Bear have been using it, and now look at this, going so close side by side through turn 1, and then Pool Diver right behind them, almost making it 3 wide. And now a little bit of a late move there, a little bit of contact, and now Pool Diver on the inside, there was a little bit of contact. Now both Za and Pool Diver are side by side, maybe a little bit of a shove there from Za, but able to hold on. Oh, what is going on?
Oh, this is going to be an interesting race. Koopa is probably relieved now where his rival is like 16 seconds behind him now. He is probably relieved.
Yeah, now here we go into the DRS zone in Sector 2. The Williams of Joshua Bear trying to defend. Za couldn't make the move. A little bit of a slide from Pool Diver. You can see Za is still fighting, but now Pool Diver has to defend. Marakidon will win the preseason Bahrain race. Lizzie will come in second place, Illyrian in third, and we are here with this. Is Joshua Bear weaving, trying to break the toe as here we go through the final turn.
Corner.
Can he hold on as it looked like he got a little bit of a best launch? Za couldn't do it, and Joshua Bear will hold on. Za will tumble down. Joshua P4, Pool P5, Spikes P6. Nova will get P7 as Za will fall to P8. What a finish!
That is an amazing finish. Probably one of the best finishes there is. Holy. Koopa, we still got Koopa to watch. We got Governor, Ballcat, Scally Money, and Koopa. Koopa with a 6-second penalty, but seems like he's still in 14th.
Koopa will be the last driver to cross, as Project in 9th, Barry in 10th, the Governor in 11th, going up 4 positions, Wildcat in 12th, Money in 13th, and then Koopa will come to a P14 finish. And actually, looking over in the chat, this is actually very accurate. Meraki Dawn, 2 wins in 12 hours. I mean, Meraki Dawn came to race, and I think that I think he, as you said before, maybe a little bit of a Hamilton Verstappen 2021 battle. So I mean, yeah, this season is setting up to be great.
This season is going to be amazing to watch, as we see Meraki Dawn in P1, Alizé in P2, Illyri in P3.
Yeah, and absolutely, I mean, this is what you want to see. I mean, it might just be preseason, but at the same time, this is the best way to start, I mean, really getting more and more practice, and like, especially strategy wise, that you can really start to get your real practice in. Koopa will get the in-game driver of the day. Meraki Dawn with the race win. Illyrian does secure fastest lap. Project Race will get credit for most overtakes, and then the Governor will get cleanest driver. Personally, I cannot say that I am surprised that the Governor got cleanest driver. But to quickly round out the race leaderboard, Meraki Dawn with the race win, Alizé in P2, Illyri in P3, Joshua P4, Pool Diver P5, Spikes P6, Nova Sap in P7, Za P8, Race in P9, Barry P10, Governor P11, Wildcat 12, Money 13, Koopa 14, Ben 15th, Nemesis 16th, Suspension 17th, and H-Town 18th. So, first preseason race over, and Dustin, we will have another preseason race here soon. But what did you think so far of your first experience of North American racing, Verstappen?
This is a very good race. I am honestly happy with this. This was amazing to watch. Very entertaining, as we saw a few people have a few fights and placement, but I'm not surprised with how well Koopa has done, because he has been practicing for a few days now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's what you want to see. I mean, I think that this was actually a decent showing, and especially like you're talking about from a team principals perspective. We talked about it before, where you just kind of want to show more improvement and be willing to keep improving throughout the course of the season. So, I mean, in terms of the preseason, this is absolutely kind of the progress you want to see.
It truly is the progress you want to see, because if Koopa decided that he didn't practice or get better, he would be last right now, because he used to run 1, but no 132 actually, and he pulled through, got his fastest time as a 129. So he's gotten better, and he's gotten like a 3 seconds better. So that is something you want to see in a driver.
Yeah, and I mean, 3 seconds in Formula One sometimes can feel like a lifetime if you're starting to improve, because I know that when I was starting, it was really, really hard trying to learn how to drive these cars. And the first time that I ran time trial and I ended up being 5 seconds faster than my previous best, it's a great feeling. And for a lot of these drivers that are getting better, it's probably a great feeling as well. And we'll close out here For the first Bahrain preseason race, we will have a second Bahrain race here within the hour starting at 5 o'clock. So if you guys would like to join in for that, be sure to check back in at 5 o'clock for that race. I will be commentating. I believe Verstappen is commentating with me once again as well. But
sure am.
There you go. So we'll get another practice run at this, because this might be practice for the drivers, but this is also practice for us as commentators. And before we tune out, do you have any final thoughts for this race?
Honestly, I think it's going to be a great, because especially after, if the next race at 5 is like this, then this season's just going to be great to watch.
I could not agree more that I think this season could be one that everyone is going to want to see, not only in Rush, but in F1 beyond. Thank you guys so much for coming in and watching the first Bahrain preseason race. We appreciate every single one of you, and we hope to see you at 5 o'clock. And before we go, also just want to give a big shout out to Rush Racing for helping to sponsor this North America circuit and series, and also a shout out to the Rush Racing sponsors Sim Racing Center, Sim Lab, Pagnian, and AI 369. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We hope that you have a good day, a good day or a good night wherever you guys are in the world, and we will see you in 1 hour for the second preseason race.